Now, what I have done over here in this final slide is I tried to put together something very interesting and schematic on the contents of human consciousness, that what is in our mind at any point in time or in our consciousness while we are living this life. For example, this is a very mechanical human mind, which is only aiming at the benefits of this life and who thinks that the life will end with death, what is typical in it. It wants to increase his happiness and minimize its pain. And this is something which is established by human psychology as well. He's very competitive, pursuit of desires. Now, this is the basic aim of every human being, that they want to accomplish their desires. They want to fulfill the desires, and intellect helps them to fulfill those desires. Of course, depending on the conditions in which they are existing on the planet. They have dissonances, and they also wish to acquire power. And this is a very interesting thing, because we have seen in the world that people want to acquire power, or once somebody acquires the power, others wish to be associated with them, because they also want to draw some power out of it. And that is why we hear this kind of a term like establishment, or secret power behind this, or some kind of conspiracies going on, that somebody else is the president while there is some kind of a secret state behind it. A family, human beings want a family. They are social animals. They want a job to make a living, or want to have a business so that they can make some money. And then they want wealth. They want house or houses. They want car or cars. So these are the definitions of material successes in the world, and we see examples of it everywhere. For example, if we ask someone, what is your definition of success? They will go over all kinds of material possessions. They want fame as well, because once their basic needs are met, then they want to have some fame. And that is why this celebrity culture exists in our world of today. And then is media and politics, which also affects their mind, and they are influenced by it. And some even become part of this media and politics by joining parties or being part of media. So we can see that in this mind, there is no hereafter, there is no question of guidance, there is no question of higher aim of life or any pursuit of permanent values or anything. It is just about me and around people who are around me. And over here, Quran has pointed to this kind of psyche in some verses. What I've done is I've only quoted the Arabic part of it, and we can look at their translations. They are pretty straightforward translations. Alamu annamal hayatu dunya laibun wa lahbun wa zinatun wa tafakharun bainakum wa takasurun fil amwale. And it's wal awlade. And it's interesting that it starts with alamu, that you should gain knowledge about it, that what is being stated over here, that you should know that most of the people live life like this. They think that the life is about sports and entertainment, and to go after the allurements of life and have some mutual pride in accumulation of wealth and possessions and in children. And there is another verse as well, which we have gone through this surah previously, Alhaakumut takasur hatta zurtumul maqabir, that in terms of pursuing these material gains, and we go through it competitively, and we reach up the graves, that's the cemetery, and we die. And we can look at this verse as well in Surah Al-Imran. Process of creating space for accepting Eimaan plus solid deeds, creating the need and desire for guidance. Now, this is the process through which we move away from this. While we are engaged in this in order to live this life, but we get a balance of it and we question it, that wait a minute, what is going on in our life and the world around us? Why there are problems? Why people are suffering? And is there a better way of living in this world? Can we create a better world in the light of the Quran? What is the procedure for freeing our minds and hearts from the chains we willingly acquire and then do not wish to free ourselves? If we are happy with this kind of a mind and with this kind of a psyche, then of course we are not going to come to the Quran. Even if somebody presents it, we are not going to listen to him or her. We think that everything we are getting is by the grace of Allah, that is, Allah becomes unjust. So we see these kind of a wording from people who are well off. And over here, what kind of a mind Quran wants us? It wants us to look at yatim and miskeen, which are the weakest links in a man-made system. That don't ignore them. If a system is creating yatim and miskeen, that system is not acceptable to Allah. Then his accountability is very important. All of us are accountable because Quran says that the earth and the heavens are created for accountability. And accountability is a positive thing because we make choices. And once we make choices and make decisions, they are going to have consequences. If I'm alone in a forest or in a jungle, it will not matter. But since we live collective life, hence my choices will affect others. And Quran wants us to make those choices within permanent values, which are good for everyone. And then afterlife is a very important part of human living according to the Quran. Because afterlife exists, it is a fact. While all of these things are facts, if there is no afterlife in that, that means life will end with death. So what is the point of this life which is not going to go beyond death? And over here, Quran gives us the option that you should look at afterlife because it is part of your existence, because you have a self. And if you have a self which is going to survive your death, that means this factor should be catered for. And then the concept of Allah. So these two concepts make the fundamental foundation of Eimaan in the Quran. Now, this is a simplified version. We can see even from these two diagrams, this is a far simpler version of human psyche than with all this junk within our mind and with all these burdens. We can't simply live a happy life because death is always awaiting us, and death is making us desperate to accumulate more, and our psyche not only destroys our own self, but also destroys the world around it. Simplified model of the contents of the human psyche, coming to grips with the contents of the priorities of the man-made systems and their effects on the human psyche. The concept of material needs and implications of assuming life ends with death, understanding the existence of the self and its latent potentials and their emergence and development. Two fundamental concepts on which Eimaan is predicated, that is concept of Allah and the concept of the existence of the hereafter in relation to the human psyche. Because Allah exists, whether we like it or not, and He is Hayyul Qayyum, He has given us life, and with His concept, which is given in the Quran, we gain new life. But this is our choice. If we do not want a new life in this world, then this is the best we can do. But if we want something different from this, dissatisfied, want a system of deen established in the world, and we want a life which is totally free from the fear of death and huzn, then this is what we have to do. And it's very simple. It apparently looks as if very complicated, but it is very simple and straightforward if we make this choice. The understanding of the functioning of the law of requital and the law of respite holds key to understanding the Quran. And then the Quran offers its services to mankind absolutely free, and it is our choice whether we wish to follow it or do not wish to follow it. Thanks for your time and for sharing this today. Please feel free to share it with your contacts. You may like to subscribe for future talks related to the Quranic system of deen. Thank you.